So in my last video, I spoke about Bitcoin dominance having a tough time breaking past its 50%. Here we are a couple hours later, and it looks like I might have spoken just too soon because today we had our breakout with Bitcoin dominance closing above the 50%. And you can see that close right here. And starting today on the 8th of July, you're seeing an open on the 50% and already making its way higher. Bitcoin's dominance coming in at over 44% of the market share might be a sign of things to come in terms of alts bleeding out more. Now, I'm going to show you a few charts. I'm going to show you what I think is going to happen in the market. But keep in mind, guys, as I always say with every video, trading is all about probability and what you do when you're wrong and right. That's really 80% of the battle. Trading psychology, stop losses, profit targets, and understanding what you do when you're wrong and what you do when you're right. That's really the key components. And that makes up roughly about 80%, give or take, of the whole trading journey, in my opinion. So let's just go and look at other charts to see if we can map together and see what's going to happen. So again, Bitcoin dominance closing above its 50%. It's really struggled to do this for a number of weeks now. And finally, we've had our breakout, and that's closing up top. But remember what I said in my previous videos, because Bitcoin dominance is up doesn't necessarily mean alts will be down. It can go into stable coins or it can go to alts. So let's have a look at the other charts and see where the other half is coming from. So let's have a look at USDT. Now, this is the USDT dominance chart. I've been covering this on my channel for a while, and unfortunately, USDT has found support, which is not good for the alt. So we have Bitcoin dominance going up and we have USDT finding support on its breakout region from the 13th of June. Now, on the 13th of June, a lot of altcoins bled. And if you look up on the screen here, keep an eye on to what the number inside the brackets, USDT dominance in one day rose up by 14%. That's how much alts bled that day. And of course, I hope you know by now, what is resistance becomes support, what is support becomes resistance. In this case, the breakout has become support. So the breakout that happened on the 13th of June has now become support, and it has formed our triple bottom, which are here, if you can see. So that means that it's going to have a tough time breaking past roughly 6.9% dominance. So we've got money going into Bitcoin. Clearly, we've got money going into Tether. That definitely means that they're coming out of alts. I've got the chart here for USDC. USDC is not as volatile as USDT just because there's not as many trading pairs, but you can still see a very similar chart playing out with support coming in back from the low of the 26th of June, the low coming back from the 21st of July, and this area, although it is within a few percentage points from these lows, coming in at roughly 5.6%. So for now, USDT has found support at the 5.75 mark before bouncing up and having some resistance here at the 2.5 mark at 6%, give or take again. So we can definitely confirm that alts are bleeding. And if you need more confirmation, you can see that total market cap 2 has definitely found, unfortunately, resistance at the trend coming down. And we almost had a double top play out. So the double top would have came out roughly here, and we would have seen how we went. It is not a good sign, guys, if we don't have a double top play out cleanly, which means we get our lower high. So unfortunately, that's what it's looking like right here. Here's our high on total market cap 2 from the 26th of June, coming in at roughly 549 billion, and you can see the lower high. So that means we're definitely going to head back down, maybe test the 50%. Maybe we go back down and we test it a bit more. Maybe we poke a head above. We'll have to wait and see. But for now, not the best looking chart. We can clearly see money is flowing out of alts for now. So not a good sign. The last reason I will give you guys that alts might be bleeding is you're starting to see the crappy coins, the ones I say to stay away from. You're starting to see them break out. So let's go through a few of them and we can sort of solidify it. So Arweave was a good crypto, right? In my last video, I said that this was a really good crypto because it was really just bursting out of the gates really cleanly. Weak cryptos were the ones finding resistance at their 50%. So let's go through them and have a look, because you'll actually see a lot of them are starting to really burst out, which is not a good sign because these are the weak cryptos. These are the late horses coming to the race. So you can see Cardano. Cardano was a late mover. Really just poked its head above the 50% on the 7th of July. That's when I did my last video, before opening up, looking back down, tried with the up thrust, couldn't get there, and closing maybe below our 50%. Now we still do have another 11 hours and 30 minutes left of the daily chart to play out. I'll probably just be awake by the time this happens, but pay attention to see how Cardano closes because it is one of the weak ones. Another one that was weak was Chainlink. If we have a look at Chainlink, this is another one that took forever to get above its 50%. You can see how many times it found resistance on the 50 before going back up. And it did go up. It closed above it, which is fantastic. Finding some support at the 50, which is fantastic. At, roughly $6.47, call it. So we'll see how we go for the next 11 hours. But you're seeing the late movers start to move. The last few that I'll give you examples are Zilliqa. Zilliqa has had a really tough time trying to push past its 50. You can still see closed above it, which is a good sign before getting the reversal and potentially eliminating all the gains that it had from the 7th of July. So you can just see it's just looking much weaker. The last crypto I'm going to show you that's weak is actually Illuvium. This is another one that you can just see clearly how much it has broken down. I mean, all the other alts were actually moving up during this time, but Illuvium was just pulling back down until it finally got to a price that the whales started buying it at and some support started to come into the market. So you can start to see we made a higher high. We tested on the 5th of July before going back up on the 50% on the 6th of July, tested the 50% beautifully on the 7th of July, and already we're starting to test and start to go below it. So should the market tank, Illuvium will be one of the best ones to go short because it's just struggled so much while other cryptos have been going down. I'll give you a bonus one as well, and that's Harmony One. Ever since the hack happened to Harmony One, this has really been on a downtrend. You can really just see this downtrend bleeding heavily. This is why anyone who says it's so cheap now, you're getting a much better discount. No, it can keep bleeding. But for finally getting a very good healthy breakout on the 4th of July, going up about 12% in the day alone, you get a nice sort of reversal, but it doesn't break the low that happened on the 4th of July. So you still get a higher low before breaking out again on the 7th of July. And now we're starting to test again and start to maybe test that 50%. So should heavy selling continue in the alts, look for these cryptos that I just mentioned to be some of your favorites to short because they are weak. However, all is not lost. There are still plenty of cryptos that are showing still a lot of strength. CRV has been a very, very good crypto for a couple of days now, and you can really start to see it find some resistance roughly at around that $1.10, call it almost. But it has had a fantastic run going from the 1st of July. You can really see it never really had a down day up until maybe today. I say maybe because, again, we have 11 hours and 30 minutes left to play out. So there's still a lot of cryptos, and you can still see, okay, we've had this massive run up, but we've only had a small test of the day. So we're still very much healthy if we stay above these highs. And that's what I mean. We're just getting a little bit of a pullback, but it could turn into a catastrophe because of the charts I showed you at the start of the video. And again, we've looked good. Phantom, which I covered in my last video, has still above its 50%, and you can still see an upthrust happening before going down. We still have the 50% to play out for support. So you're starting to see some of the ones that have moved up more and were the really good go-getters still have their supports there. Again, Sand, you're seeing a double top play out almost perfectly. So you see them here, and unfortunately wasn't able to get there. So maybe we need a little bit more time with something like Sand. Render is another one that I've been talking about lately. You can see how resilient it has been above its 50%, starting to test a little bit 50%. So again, it's a case for things might not be as bad. We're just getting one of those pullbacks. We have to see how bad that pullback is. But like I showed you at the start of the video with those charts, it's looking a little bit concerning at the moment, particularly because we are approaching the weekend, and typically weekends can be quite a volatile day. So when it comes to market dropping, they love to drop generally on a Saturday here in Australia. So see what time zone that plays out to you in your country. But that's going to do it for this video. We'll have to see how it plays out. The last bit of advice I will leave you with is pay attention to the weekend. If we get a massive volume coming to the weekend, that means we will definitely be in for a good or bad week. So look for this weekend to be a very good indicator for things to come. If nothing happens and volume's low, the likelihood is that that will carry on over to the week again. If we get very, very high volume and a big outburst to the up or downside, then that's going to most likely continue into the week again, continuing next week. So we'll see what happens. I know it's a very tough time to call the market at the moment, but just have your plan in place. I think that more pain is coming, unfortunately, just based on the stablecoin and BTC dominant chart showing money is coming out of the alts. And BTC dominance, guys, looks like it is ready to take off. As usual, we'll have to wait and see. If you like this video, smash the like button, give me a subscribe, help the channel grow during this bearish period. And until then, everyone, stay safe. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below.